Hi everyone, it's Erin from EV Mix Media. Today I'm going to show you how to make one of these beautiful collages, which features as a focal point a floral from one of my stamp sets from joggles.com. These are my Fabulous Floral stamps. You can get them online at Joggles. And I am going to show you how to stamp florals using the Caran d'Ache Neocolor 2 watercolor crayons, or water soluble crayons. And then I'm also going to use different stamps from the set to make these background papers to go onto the collage. So let's get started and we'll start making some florals. Stamping with Neocolors, Neocolor 2 water soluble crayons gives you such a really dreamy, watery effect with the florals. It's really, really pretty and it's really simple to do. So I'm gonna start with my Fabulous Florals poppy stamp and show you how I do it. I've got a stamping block here. I've got a piece of watercolor paper. You could probably also do this on any kind of mixed media paper, but you want something relatively sturdy to withstand the water. And I've got a spray bottle full of water. And I'm gonna start with just giving this a little bit of a spritz. And then choose some watercolors here. Since this is a poppy, we'll just go ahead and start with red. And I'm actually just coloring on the raised parts of the stamp, and I think I need a little more water. And I think you can see, I hope you can see, that the color is coming off. Can you see that onto the stamp? So I'm using a scarlet color, and I think I'm going to go back in and add a little bit of this carmine. I think that's what it says. That's a little pinker. So let's see how this does. Now see how it's really flowy, and that's okay. Let's see if we can get a second one. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. That one's much lighter. Let's do the stems on this one. For this we'll use, what's this one? Olive green. And I'm going to add in a little bit of this yellow ochre as well. I'm going to flip this over and use the stem upside down so that it arcs to the right. There we go. And then I'll add a leaf. Go back to that olive green. Oops, it's moving around on there. And some of the yellow ochre. And this is, what's this? Just olive. Put some of that in there. Oh, it's wet under the stamp, so it's sliding. That one didn't do so well, but we can fix that one. So let's make a few more. Go back to this, I've forgotten what it's called again, scarlet. And this is vermilion, no, yeah, vermilion. And I'm gonna really put a lot more water, and see how that does. Oh, nice. The second one will always be a little lighter, but that's good too. Those are pretty. Let's see if I can get a third. Give it another spritz. Nice. Let's see if we can't get something in a blue or a turquoise. Let's do kind of, what is this one? Light blue. Our poppies don't all have to be red, do they? And let's add a little bit of this in, and this is ultramarine. Just a little here and there. Turn my page over. Oh, that's pretty. Do another one of those. Actually, let's hit it with a little bit of this cobalt, which I think might be a little more turquoise. No, I don't think it is. Let's try this one. Okay, we got a lot going on that one. We'll see what happens. Nice, much deeper color there at the base. That's really pretty. Let's hit it with some of this purple. What's going to happen if I do that? A lot of this is just playing. What if? What if I try? That's got some nice purple variation in there. That's very pretty. Okay, let's add our stems in here. And I'm gonna do some of that green and a little bit of this sienna, burnt sienna. Turn it upside down to have the floral lean the other way. Give it one more quick spritz. I think I can get one more out of here. There we go. Ooh, interesting. Interesting. There we go. Nice. And now we'll add our leaf. I'm going to add just a tiny touch of that blue that we've got there. Nice. Good. Those look great. I'm happy with those. Now I like to add a little more to some of these pieces just to jazz them up. So for example, and I will note that when I went to blow dry, this one was super wet and the water just blew out, but that's okay. We can cut that out and it'll look fine. Same with a little bit here, but that's okay. So I think for some of these, it's nice to, this one's a little faint, so I think it's kind of nice to do an outline as well to sort of better define it. But I keep it very loose. And I just follow the lines that are there, but again, I'm not trying to be exact in any way. And I think that quality, that sort of hand-drawn quality with these stamps allow you to really kind of personalize them with your own style and make them your own. So I didn't do a lot there. I'm gonna go ahead and do this bit. And I'm gonna use a black Posca pen to add in the little dots. That looks nice. You could also do it in gold. Let's go ahead and do this one. And I'll use a gold Posca pen on this one. And again, like I said, you can leave them as is, or I have another Sakura Jelly Roll pen, and this is in some sort of pink color. So let's try that one. And I would just keep the stem as is. Okay, so those are just some ideas. Same goes for over here. You could add white here if you wanted, and you could just not bother putting in the lines and just fill the whole area with dots. Alternatively, I've got a blue here. If you wanted to do that, you could. So now we want to cut these out so we can work on our collage. So in order to make our collage, we need to make some background papers that we can add to it. So I'm going to do that for our poppy using this stamp right here. I've got a piece of just plain mixed media paper, cardstock. You could even use photocopy paper for this if you'd like. And I have a red apple paint here, a craft paint. It's apple barrel paints. And I'm just going to add the tiniest amount because I don't want this to be super, super red. And then I'm going to add a little bit of white gesso. White paint would work too. And I'm going to dip my brush, just get it a little bit wet. I've got a wide, flat brush here. And I'm just going to bring this down the page. I think that looks pretty good. Let's dry it. Okay, my background is totally dry now. I've got some archival ink in red geranium, and I'm going to use this stamp here to create a background. And I'm just going to start up in this corner. Adding stamps like so. There we go, a nice pattern. Now there's different things you could do with this, and I'm just going to show you on the bottom here. If you wanted to add more, you could color in all or just some of these if you wanted to. And I think that actually is a really nice effect. I might do that. I've got a pink here as well that could be nice. Give a little change, you know, change things up a little bit. The other thing is to fill in with gold. Add a lot of bling there. That's really pretty. Or you could take your gold pen and outline just one side, which is what I did here. I really like the gold, and I think what I'm gonna do is just do it randomly, not everywhere. Yeah, I like that. So for the next piece of background paper, I just have some scraps of brown paper bag. If you have craft paper, that would work as well. And this time I'm going to use this sort of chain stamp. It's a border stamp, or it could be a border stamp. And I'm gonna stamp in black. And I'm just gonna basically cover I think my stamp's a little crooked on here, but that's okay if it's a little wonky. It is a little wonky. And I'm not really trying to line these up any certain way. And once again, we have a few options with this. If we really wanted to beef up the red, we could fill in with a red Sharpie. Before I do that, however, I want to connect these chains together just with my black pen. So let's see what this might look like. I think that's sort of interesting. I don't know if that's my favorite. That's one thing we could do. We could go in with white. The other option, if you wanted to keep up with the gold idea, would be to add a gold outline. Just on one side here, as if the light is hitting it, and then on the inside, and this will give it a little bit of a three-dimensional effect. You could do this in white as well. And finally, for our last piece of collage paper, I've got a piece of artist grade tissue paper here. You could probably use regular tissue paper, although it's a lot more fragile. The other thing is if you have some napkins and you peel them apart, that plain white backing of a napkin would work too. So for this, I'm just taking the floral, the poppy, and some black ink, and I am just going to stamp that in random patterns, upside down, right side up. Oh, whoops, we won't use that piece. Just like so, and that's gonna make a really nice background paper for us. Okay, I have all my florals cut out and we're ready to start assembling our collage. I've got my papers over here. I actually made a few more. I had used the Sharpie and I didn't really like how it looked, so I went and grabbed my red Posca pen, and I liked that a lot better than this one. I also did a white outline on the chain, whereas this one I had done a gold. I have the white, and then I have one that's just plain. We have this background paper, and then we have our tissue paper. So what I have here is a piece of cardstock. This is 6 by 6, and this is a kind of buff colored piece of cardstock, maybe a tan or a taupe, and it is 5.5 by 5.5. So we'll be layering that. I'm going to set this aside for now. So to make my collage, I'm going to start by cutting up a piece of this. So if we put that there, and then I'd like to tear off some of this tissue paper. We could lay that there. I'd like to use a book page. This is sort of interesting with these mathematical formulas on it. And then I'd like to use one of these pieces. The question is which one. I do sort of like how this looks, but I think it's too much red. I think I like the gold. And then to choose a floral, which I'm really liking this one. I'm actually not liking this straight line here. And this was where I messed up on the stamp, but I think we're basically covering that up. I think that'll work. I'm going to trade this out for a larger piece. And I will go in and color these light pinks and whites with the gold. Remember, this was sort of our test piece. And then maybe I'll add a few more because that makes sense to me. Okay, back to where we were. Let's see. Yeah, I think that'll do. All right, I'm going to start gluing down here. I'm going to use my Yoo-Hoo glue stick. Add our book page in. Our craft paper. And the floral. Smooth that out with some deli paper so I don't get any gunk on it. All right, and now we just need to add our sentiment, which is grow. So I have my book page here, and there's a nice blank spot here at the bottom. You know what? No, I'm not going to do that. I feel like maybe, well, let's try it. Let's do 2 of them. I've got a piece of white scrap paper as well. Let's see which one we like best. There's my stamp block. Got my black ink. So I'm going to use some of my Distress Oxide and Vintage Photo to distress this a bit. Otherwise, I'm afraid it's going to blend in too much with the paper that's on there. I'm also going to try it on one of these. And then we can determine which one I like the best. So we've got grow. I do like that. We've got grow. Not loving that. It's this one, hands down, as far as I'm concerned. All right, I'm gonna put that on. And then glue it to this background page. That's it. We've created a beautiful collage that is really pretty enough to be framed using all of the stamps in this Fabulous Florals Poppy set, which you can get at joggles.com. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it gave you some inspiration for making papers and creating a collage with the supplies that you have at home. I'll be back again soon with another video, and in the meantime, you can find me on Instagram. I'm at EB Mixed Media. That's EB_Mixed Media. Thanks, everyone. Bye.